Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Journey, known as your personal confidant. On this channel, we focus on your personal development so you can fulfill your romantic life goals. Today, I would like to talk to you about a show called Married at First Sight. There are some great teachable moments and that I would like to talk to you about. For those of you that's not familiar with the show, it's an experimental show where they take 5 couples, and for the very first time at sight is when they're getting married. The show captures the couple's emotional journey for 8 weeks, from wedding to honeymoon to moving in together, and seeing how they actually deal with day-to-day struggles for 8 weeks. During that time, the couples are supported and guided by 3 professionals along their journey. The first couple that piqued my interest were Michaela and Zack. Michaela is 30 years old and she's a realtor, and Zack is 27 years old. He's in the finance industry. They actually both live in Houston, Texas. That's actually where the show took place. So Michaela and Zack met at the very first time at the altar.
You're just like me. I wanted this all my life. I would have done anything just to be standing here today. I vow to be patient, loving, and understanding. I vow to be giving and forgiving. I vow to always be the fun and charming guy you'll come to know and hopefully love over the next weeks and months. I vow to be committed and to always put you first. From this day on, I choose you, and I really hope you choose me too.
Okay, come on.
Michaela has such a vivacious personality. I love her giggle. She seemed like she's a very, very fun girl. Let me tell you, she was really loving what she saw. Michaela was smiling from ear to ear. She really could not get enough of Zack. Zack has the most beautiful smile, looks very charismatic, and Michaela was just like, couldn't wait for her to put her hands on him. I can just tell she was so giddy. Like, just that little schoolgirl was coming out of her, and she could just eat Zack right there and then. She was like, okay, the show did right by me. And Zack was also feeling Michaela. I'm not sure if he was as attracted to Michaela as Michaela was to him, but nonetheless, there was certainly an attraction there. The attraction between Zack and Michaela was so intense. They consummated the marriage on the very first night.
If the last night keeps happening, I'm gonna die a happily married man. Sexually. Sorry.
I don't believe any of the other couples did that, because it's kind of weird meeting your husband for the very first day, getting married, and now you guys have to share a bed together. So consummating the marriage on the first night, I guess, would not be comfortable for many people. I know it certainly wouldn't be comfortable for me, but then again, I'm another story. The next morning, Zack got on video smiling from ear to ear. I guess Michaela put it on him, honey. He said he could live with that for the rest of his life. He sure wouldn't mind it, and I bet he wouldn't. At any rate, so they went to Key West, Florida for their honeymoon. They were there for a few days. Unfortunately, before Michaela and Zack could really start their honeymoon, he got infected with COVID. And so Michaela wanted to stay to be there for Zack, her new husband, and she didn't want to be away from him. But Zack really wanted space. He did not want Michaela to be there. He was like, go back to Houston because I actually need some time to myself. I'm sick. And Michaela was just pouting.
Personally, I'm not gonna be by you. I mentally cannot be next to you.
Sounds so mean. I didn't do this to be single.
So Zack and I decided to sleep in separate bedrooms.
I don't want to sleep next to you, so I'm gonna sleep here.
And so I woke up this morning.
And I can understand that as a new wife and you really getting to know one another, and after that first sexual encounter, you definitely want to spend time with that individual. So sick or not sick, she wanted to be with her man. So I can understand that. But Zack was not having it. When the couples returned from their honeymoon, they actually moved in together. Given Zack had gotten sick the first day of his honeymoon, he had to quarantine for 14 days. So seeing each other for the very first time was extra special for them. So this is where it went left between them real quick. Zack had the audacity, the gall, to wake up in the morning and left the house and did not leave Michaela a note, not a text, not a voicemail, nothing.
Like storm off.
I think that's abandoning people, and I think that's abusive.
I've always said I'm looking forward to our first fight.
And so Michaela was like, oh, so he's gone? So she packed up her ish and she left.
This morning, and Zack is not here. He left the apartment without informing me of anything. No phone calls, no text messages to my phone, nothing. And so I'm out.
Michaela.
You really want to know what's wrong?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yes, that was, I mean, really, Michaela? You couldn't wait till he got back in order to talk to him about his behavior? He's a whole young man. They need time to assimilate. It's not because you got married and all of a sudden people know how to be married. Married is really, really hard. Living with another person, cohabitating with another person in close proximity and thinking that it's just going to work out. No, honey. No, that's not how it works. So Zack is still doing him, not recognizing that he's married, that he has to actually communicate his whereabouts, his actions, everything. So I'm sure it takes some getting used to assimilating to marriage life. So when Zack returned, there was no Michaela. I'm sure the producers were like, she's gone. And he really did not get it. Like, where did she go and why? So he got in touch with Michaela. They actually sat down and they had a conversation. Michaela said that she felt abandoned and disrespected when he just left and he did not communicate his whereabouts or that he was even leaving. She felt like he actually crossed a boundary. And Zack really didn't get it. He was like, okay, I get that I crossed a boundary and you felt this way, but did it really warrant this kind of reaction? And I'm with Zack. It didn't, but you know what? Clearly what he did triggered something. And so they were able to reconcile themselves and come to an agreement that she's not going to be a flight risk. She's not going to have this knee-jerk reaction going forward. They're actually going to sit down like mature adults, mature married adults, and actually discuss any concerns that they may have within the relationship and try to rectify their issues. It's just been never-ending drama and explosive episodes between Zack and Michaela.
Came back after I dropped the law.
You a damn up.
Unfortunately, Zack and Michaela has had a tumultuous union throughout the season. There has been numerous explosive circumstances between them. And Zack could really not get past the fact that Michaela packed up and left that day. That knee-jerk reaction, he couldn't get past it. So for some reason, he couldn't forgive her and just moved on.
I've seen some like red flags. I think the way Michaela handles things is not something I'm accustomed to. I woke up, took Bella to a daycare, and she made it very clear to me that she does not like being woken up. I didn't realize that she was actually mad that I just left without saying anything. She just like moves out of the whole place. And then she texts me, or saying like, I'm not doing the housewarming, my friends are not coming, I'm not doing it. If it's this early on, with very minor situations, that's why I'm so nervous. Like, I'm not gonna be able to do it.
On. So going forward, it's like he was holding back and was not pouring and investing into the relationship wholeheartedly. And Michaela felt that resistance. And so it just brought on various drama and things that were just not needed. So no matter what happened, they've always find a way to come back together to work on their marriage. One of the episodes, they already had plans. So Zack said that he had to go pick up something at his apartment and he'll be back. When Zack got to his apartment, he decided that he wanted to stay the night there. And so he called Michaela and said that I'm staying. And Michaela was beside herself. She again felt like she was being neglected and abandoned by her husband. And so she went off. And Zack actually couldn't understand why she was upset, why she went off. Her behavior, her actions did not warrant what took place. And I'm like, are you high? You actually called her and blindsided her by telling her that, you know what, on another note, I'm going to stay at my apartment. Who do you think you are? And why do you think that's okay? You completely have no consideration for her at all whatsoever. How do you expect a person to feel? Again, when men show you who they are, you believe them. Husband, boyfriend, whomever, friend, I don't care. This is who they are. And that's people in general. But because we're speaking about men, we're going to keep it in context. And he just did not get it. He wanted Michaela to actually understand. And Michaela is looking like, okay, I'm in the twilight zone. Like, that's when she really realized that they were in trouble. So now she's trying to stay calm because she does not want to be painted as this explosive, emotionally charged black woman. So she's like, okay, she's trying to explain why she felt the way.
I ask you guys, like, you know, is this kind of usual for her? And like, how do you kind of get around this? Because this, for me personally, is something that I'm going to have trouble dealing with.
And communicate that to Zack. And Zack was not receptive. He just kept on saying, but, you know, of course. His narc started coming out. And then you can tell that she's really, really struggling. However, she maintained her calm and she tried to push forward. Again, they continued to struggle.
Incredible amount of potential. I don't want you to derail this early.
There was another scene that all the couples went out to the ranch for a little getaway to get to know each other a little bit more and just to kind of like change it up a little bit. And Michaela and Zack were not really on good terms because Michaela had actually left. And Zack spoke to her, and I'm sure the producers spoke to her as well. So they actually rode together to the ranch. And as they're talking, it's kind of like, you know, a little lukewarm between them. It's not the same. And Zack started to speak and said that he thinks that do better if they were actually not in a marriage and they were just dating. The pressures of being in a marriage is really affecting them. And he thought that, okay, if we can just get ourselves out of this marriage, date, that will be less pressure and we would actually do better. And Michaela was like, this is preposterous.
Let me ask you this. If marriage with me is so hard, then why even continue any kind of relationship with me after this?
If we got a divorce, right, we would be in a different circumstance. So we see what happens then.
I can't. I'm sorry. I can't.
And I understand it. The gaslighting of it all was just too much. It's like, Zack, you don't get to pick and choose how you want this process to go. No, you either are committed to it or you're not. And so I'm sure the producers talked her down. So she actually went back to speak to Zack. And I'm not sure if anything was really rectified from that conversation.
To be petty.
Michaela.
If she's gonna get back at you, I feel like
husband.
she's taking batteries out the smoke alarm.
I take it my baseboard.
She's
with me if you want to. Thought you wanted dishwasher detergent. That little agitator? Yeah, you thought that you wanted that to spin.
Like, to me, that's category.
At the last night at the ranch, as Zack and Michaela got ready, they were having a conversation, and Zack said that he feels like he's been consistent throughout their marriage journey till now. And Michaela condescendingly said, yes, you have. You've been consistently yourself. And I can tell Zack just looked at her with such contempt, like he was so done with her. And he was like, you know what, maybe I should go. And she was like, yeah, you should.
No, I came with you. I don't.
Go home now. I'll find a way home.
No, but we rode together. I can't just like leave you.
No. I'm telling you right now, I don't need you to take me home. You can go.
You're telling me you don't want to drive with me anymore. So under that circumstance, then I will leave tonight.
And Zack was like, okay, well, I guess that's not what he was expecting. Okay, Michaela, that's a bit much. Zack decided that he's had enough, so he started packing his things, and Michaela was in his way. No, why you leaving tonight? After she just told him that he can pack up his things and he can leave. And now she's saying, why are you leaving? Oh, it's too late to leave. Now she's all concerned about his safety. But I get it, because her dad actually died in a car accident and he left very upset, and I guess that was a trigger for her, and so she got concerned. She actually tried to block the door from him, and she followed him outside, and he was like, just let me leave. I'm like, Boy, you are not the victim, okay? He just really wanted to paint her out as a crazy woman. And you know what? She did a great job at that on her own, but he didn't need to add to it. So he was like, just let me leave, like literally begging and pleading. I just want to leave. You know, I'm just trying to leave and she's not letting me leave. He was actually saying that to his castmates, like, tell her, like, just leave me alone. I just wanted, so all of a sudden, like, he's taking the moment and just like saturating himself in the moment.
I'm begging. Can any, like, can this let me leave, please?
You gonna ride back with him? Get in the f***ing car with him. I will. Get in.
I see you all too well, honey. I get your number. And so Michaela had to back off eventually, so Zack left. And again, Michaela felt neglected and abandoned. Michaela just lost it. That she actually took a bench and flipped it over and just walked over it. And the producer had to hold her back because she did not want to be filmed anymore, and she just slammed the door closed. Like,
in hurricane condition.
get out! Get out! I'm like, Michaela. Unfortunately, as black women, we get no grace. People, just seeing that take place and watching that is a lot. Our rage and our intensity is a lot. So people, even if you're not wrong, people don't care, because perception is reality. And now people are perceiving her as this angry, crazy, explosive, emotionally charged black woman. And I'm like, girl, like, I get it, but we're gonna have to learn how to cope. You're gonna have to be disciplined emotionally, because this is not it. I get a Michaela all too well. I was a Michaela, and some parts of me is still a Michaela. I understand what she felt seeing this man walked away from her, given that she still have trauma from her father's accident and death. And now she feels like she's being abandoned again. So she has this wall up. She's really, really protective of herself. And then she meets a Zack. Zack has all sorts of triggers popping off. And Michaela does not know how to contain herself with a Zack. I'm not sure why the experts put them together and thought that they were such a compatible match, but it's not working out. They're struggling. Zack has a lot of narcissistic traits. Zack really wants a corpse. He wants marriage to be about him. He wants marriage to accommodate him, his needs, his desires, and what he wants. He still wants to be independent. He still wants the benefits of being single. He's looking for a corpse, someone that's not going to react to any of his BS. Michaela is not it, honey.
Clone stuff, the shouting, the banging, the throwing, that's terrible.
We have a little running gag in the family with Michaela. We call her Hurricane K. Hurricane K comes in fast, hot, mean.
Instead of Zack trying to really understand Michaela and what she's feeling and where she's coming from, he just cannot get past himself. It's all about what he's feeling. Like, he gets it, but he doesn't, and he's struggling. He tells her how much he likes her and want to be with her, but he just cannot get past certain things that she does. But why won't you stop, Zack? If you stop doing what you're doing, I promise you're going to have a better wife. Instead of looking within, you want to point fingers. You have to take accountability and responsibility for your actions and your decisions. Michaela she actually sees where she went wrong, and she actually admits to being wrong, and she's actually working on those things. But with a Zack, honey, you cannot keep your mental together. You're always going to pop off with a Zack. Dealing with a narky like a Zack? No, you don't get peace. You don't get to be pleasant. You don't get to be kind and cuddly. You always have to stay on edge dealing with them. They want to turn around and act like they've been victimized, and you're looking, and they gaslight you to death. Do you hear me? You would literally feel like you're losing your mind because the gaslight mind F is off the chain with these narcs. And so Michaela is flying off the handle because that's probably her first narc that she had to deal with. Zack makes Michaela question her reality, question her truth, and she starts to lose her mind. He's the asshole, and he's for sure a classic textbook gaslighter. Meaning narc. Like, I was so sick and tired of watching him and the foolishness just throughout the episode. I was so over him. And the thing about Michaela is, no matter what Zack does, she would still go back to Zack. Like, she has this attachment issue. She has this codependency on Zack. Like, she just can't let it go. And Zack just plays her. He plays her into her laying on her back. I mean, married or not, I don't care. If you can't get your ish together and you're mistreating me, why am I on my back? So every time they make up, so-called make up, because Zack is playing her, she's like, you know, having great sex with him. Why? There was one scene after a blow up, Michaela actually left thinking that she's done. But what she doesn't know is you're done when a narc says that you're done. So at any rate, they got together and they went out and they actually talk about that situation, and they came back to bed and they turned the lights out as if they were just going to bed. Okay, fine. As viewers, we know better. So they went to bed, and like 2 o'clock in the morning, they were out getting a bite to eat. We all know what that is. After great sex, that's what happens. You get hungry. So they went out to get a bite to eat because all of a sudden they woke up from sleep hungry. I bet they did. But we all understood what that was. And again, Zack got her right where he wanted her.
Thinking of like a much better headspace with it all. So we're in a good, really.
What really annoys me about Michaela is every time they have group dates and they talk about their individual experiences as married couples, Michaela would sit there and kind of cover up for Zack. She would just like act like minimize what's going on and act like, oh, you know, we are doing okay, and Zack this and Zack that. And that's what happens. The more you hide for them, they act more of a fool. And Zack is a certified asshole. It really does not take him much to act up. You have to be able to check them all the way it hurts. And I'm not gonna sit there and lie and say, and everybody's being honest about their situation, but she literally sitting there and acting like Zack is just this warm and cuddly person. No, the heck he isn't. A few days before decision day is where they make a decision whether they want to stay married or get a divorce. Michaela and Zack got into it again, and they actually separated and stayed in different quarters. And they had a session where they had to come together with the therapist. And as they came together, you can just tell that they were really cold towards one another. They went through with the therapist as to what it is that they were experiencing and why they were at odds with one another. Michaela was completely ignoring Zack after the session. She was like on her phone as they waited for the elevator door to open. And so we thought that was the end of that. Like, they're not gonna make it. It's a wrap. So the next scene, Michaela and Zack were together, and Michaela was saying, oh, after the session, Zack called me and we actually went out to lunch and we spoke about things, and we actually got in a really, really good place. So he talked to me about what I was doing, what was wrong, and I had a better understanding where I went wrong and how what we can do in order to make sure that we don't get there again. And I was like, idiot. I get it, but I just have very low tolerance for BS. It's like, girl, I get it, you like him, but do you have to be completely in the dark about him? Live in your reality. When you're not living your reality, that's how you get hurt, disappointed. You have to take to your bed and lick your wounds and nurture yourself back to good emotional health. How does that serve you? You are busy, okay? You don't have time to be taking your bed after a man that's showing himself out over and over and over again. It's exhausting having to watch them, really. And Michaela is really started to get on my nerves. Like, I couldn't take Michaela anymore. I'm like, girl, read the freaking room. Read the writing on the wall. What do we need to do in order for you to get it, ma'am? Zack have told Michaela several times that this marriage is too much for him. He has showed no interest in continuing the marriage. Every time they have a fallout, he gets more and more and more distant. Of course, he doesn't get distant with his D, you know. He can't get enough of her sexually. So I feel like he's just been using her as a sexual vehicle just to get off. I mean, they're married, right? So all of the cast got together for lunch and they were talking about decision day and what they think that their decision is going to be and what it's going to take to say yes. And Zack said that he would prefer to be out the marriage, actually divorce her, and then continue and seeing her, but they will be dating. And so that would allow him to get to know her more and take out the pressure of being married. And Bao, which is another individual on the show, was like, no, you don't get to pick and choose. She was just basically saying that to her guy. Look, on decision day, it's either you choose me, and if you don't, we're not going to continue anything. I'm done. You're not going to reject me and humiliate me, and you think that I'm going to stay here and continue dating you? No. I'm not going to give you that privilege. I understood it all too well. And here goes Michaela. Ooh, she's a sad case, honey. Really tragic, actually. But she's a sister, so we're not going to really go in on her. She's doing the best she can with the cameras, okay? We do worse with no cameras. So she's on camera and they're just capturing her raw emotions and her raw behavior. So we have to give her some grace. But I'm like, girl, oof, I don't like how you looking out here. Get it together. Sure enough, come decision day, Michaela, knowing what she knows, that Zack wants to continue dating her after he divorces her. Sure enough, she chose to stay with Zack. And Zack said that, you know what, I would prefer to be outside the marriage, get a divorce, but continue seeing you. The therapists were beside themselves. They're like, in what world are you living? Where do you think that works at? You don't just get to reject someone and divorce them and think that you could continue seeing them. Poor thing, she was hurt. She was beside herself, like she just could not understand his logic, where he's coming from. But that's not the first. I mean, that's been a thing with them since day one. And Michaela was like, no, it's either a yes or it's a no. And I'm like, Michaela, girl, please. You trying to enforce what? You've been dealing with the same person and now you're trying to get a real answer. That is his answer, hun. Try to decode it. Whatever it is that he's saying, the results are, in conclusion, he does not want to be with your ass. That's what he's basically saying. And that's what we do sometimes as women. Like, what are you saying? The man is saying what he means, honey. He does not want you. Point blank, period. Why try to unpack it? Unpack it for what? So you could digest it better, so you could feel better? Oh no, honey, I've learned to give myself closure. You don't have to tell me twice, trying to humiliate me and reject me. No, you don't get to do that. Let me beat you to the punch. Let me tell you how understanding I am. Thank you, sir. Bye. For sure, you're not going to get to see me. I'm done. I'm going to show you what done looks like with my actions. Meanwhile, Michaela is trying to figure it out. She's giving him way too much airtime, way too much energy already. And we're all looking like, girl, he said what he said. And that's what the man said too. The man said, I said what I said. I'm like, you sure right. You sure did say what you said, honey. Michaela, ma'am, you need to make a decision, because the man said what he said. And don't let him have to tell you again, because the next time you're not going to like how he tells you. Okay? Let me tell you, I don't need no man to tell me twice, honey. Because the next time they have to tell you, it's not going to be so nice or so pleasant. So Michaela left that scene, picking up her ego. and saying whatever she was saying. At this point, we didn't care, honey, because you didn't have to be here. You wanted to stay married to a man that rejected you, that wanted to divorce you. He actually told you throughout the whole season that he didn't want this, but you would not believe. And look how he humiliated you. You didn't need that. You have to respect thyself. It comes to a point where you cannot want somebody more than they want you, plain and simple. Stop trying to look for an alternative answer. It's not there. Sometimes we really inflict pain. We need to stop it. Have self-discipline. Have self-respect. You done with me, I'm done with you too. You don't have to tell me twice, honey. Bye. Fast forward the reunion. Michaela actually sat with Kevin, who was the host, interviewing her and asking her questions about her experience during this season. And Michaela said that she did not want to sit next to Zack. She did not want to see his face, like she was done with him. And I'm thinking like, oh, what happened, honey? How are you done now? I mean, it's awfully all too late, but okay, I guess you have to be done at some point, right? So let's see what transpired. It actually got so bad. It hurts me to even think about her putting herself in that position. After Zack rejected her and asked for a divorce, you know that whatever happened, she went to stay with Zack for 7 to 8 days or so, having sex, cooking and cleaning. Those are her words. She said that, and I quote, having sex, cooking and cleaning. I guess she overstayed her welcome and Zack was all through. What Zack doesn't like, honey, is somebody invading his privacy. He's done. So he was like, no, you got to go, honey. And Zack literally threw her out. And I'm like, that's what it had to come to? He took you out like he took out the trash, the garbage? We have to do better. We have to do better as women. We really have to. We cannot be so committed to the outcome. You have to let it go. I'm like, this is what it resulted in order for you to get it? For him to continue humiliating you and rejecting you? And now this is impacting your self-worth, your self-esteem, your confidence, and you have to go repair yourself? Do you know how much work it takes to repair that? From some asshole that does not even deserve you? Girl, you know what? I'll be so embarrassed and so ashamed. I would not put that on national TV. She even went as far as saying when they had that little lunch date to rectify their issues, where she was so understanding and they actually had a breakthrough. They went back to his place. They had sex. And Zack got up. And I quote, if you tell anyone, I'm going to deny it. And that's exactly what Zachary did. Zack sat his ass on that couch on national television and denied ever having sex with her. Barely even kissing her. He said, why would he do that? I was at loss for words. And you want to be mad at him? You need to be mad at thyself, honey. You did this all. Yes, he helped you. Yes, he contributed. But at the end of the day, we have to take responsibility for our choices, our decisions, and our actions. I am so tired of women pointing fingers at the men's. The men's don't really lie anymore. And if they do, they're not good liars. They show you. Forget what they're saying. Every time they open their mouth, they're probably lying. But pay attention to their actions. They can't keep it up. Even a certified narc cannot even keep up the play. They tell you along the way to be better, ladies. We have to understand when somebody don't give a F about us, when somebody does not respect us, does not consider our feelings, minimizes our feelings, It starts right there. It doesn't take much. You're going to have to learn not to give a F about someone that doesn't care for you, that doesn't like you. Many of these men that we're dating, that's our husbands that we're in a relationship with, does not even like us. They like the idea of us, but the application, on the low, they don't even like this. And some of us, we don't even have them on the low. They straight up tell you that they don't even like you, actually. So Zack came out on his high horse, denying everything, saying he couldn't do it with her, making her look like a mental case, basically. Because she was not able to manage her emotions, she was a raging bee. Yes, Zack got her there, but I can't blame Zack. You have to take responsibility for yourself. Oh, I know all too well about rage, honey. Having these explosive reactions, being emotionally charged, going off, the knee-jerk reactions. Oh, they gets you there, honey. They gets you there. But you know what? You have to make a decision. Do you really want a person to have that much control over you, over your emotions? No. You can't just be popping off. Look at me. I'm as black as they come. I'm as broad as they come. Any little intensity, any little reaction, I'm the aggressor. I'm the so-called emotionally charged, crazy black woman. Easy.
And misperceptions of others. Was I too loud or too angry or too emasculated?
So I always have to do more to contain myself, to watch my enunciation, because even that is a trigger for most, or it's too much, or it's too intense. Society doesn't give us much grace. So you decide how you show up in this world. All I tell you is, it's not worth it being out of character and giving this man such emotional control over you. Humiliating thyself for who? For a lowlife? A bottom dweller that does not even see you? Oh yeah, that's a sad and tragic case. I want no part of it. Every day I get up and I ask God to work on me, to humble my heart. Yeah, I can't afford to be out here in these streets and looking all crazy. No. Not for no man. No. For someone that's not even thinking about you? No. You have to do the work. The work is hard, let me tell you. It's a daily commitment. It's a daily dedication, but it's all worth it. It's a lifetime journey. It's not once in a blue moon. No. I'm always getting Journey all the way together and putting her on check, putting her on notice. We can't be out here all lost and confused. We have to know what it is. The last episode, they did a follow-up, Where Are They Now, with the castmates. Guess who Zachary with? Zachary is with another cast member. Her ass? The trifle. Okay. Well, maybe it's not fair, just because it did not work out with Michaela, that he does not get to move on. He is a man after all. But this other cast member called Bao, you are let me see how I can say this nicely. You are a low down, manipulative, vindictive piece of ish. You think that you're better? You think that he's gonna do right by you? Or you think that you're different, honey? No, you don't get a different type of treatment. Oh, he gonna show you, honey. And he did. she actually had the gall to come out and say that her and Zachary are actually together. And another woman surfaced. She was like, how are you with him? I'm with him. Check, check. Karma, honey. Karma. You don't do that to your friend. You don't do that to another girl. Y'all gonna learn today. These men are not your friends. They are not here to play. They're only faithful to two things: their egos and their penis. You're either gonna learn this the hard way, or you're gonna get it together right away and understand what time it is. While you right here talking about, oh, I love him, honey. Let me digress. Let this be a teaching moment for me, for you, to be better, to get better, to actually have self-discipline and self-respect. I hope I was able to serve you. Thank you for watching and listening. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Take care until later. Thank you.